I'm Sarah Hobbs, and this is another great episode of the ETX ROCKS featuring Julia Hatfield.
From the unknown to the stars, from the couch to the car, from the unheralded and the unheard, to the legends and beyond, it's where we all belong. Yes, this is where it all starts. From every genre, from every plane, this is where the music's played. So tune right in, won't you bring a friend? This is where it all begins. Welcome to the show, let the music flow of every style and creed. And you can bet your socks that ETX rocks, ETX rocks.
Hey guys, Boston Chris here, and this is another great episode of the ETX ROCKS Show. And man, we have a huge treat for you guys today on the show. Julia Hatfield is not only one of the best female country singers here in the state of Texas, she's also been voted as such by you folks out there. The 2018 New Female Vocalist of the Year through TRRMA, right?
Yes, I'm so excited.
Isn't that awesome?
That blew my mind. I did not see that coming. We went to the awards show just to hang out and see everybody, and it was my second year being in the finals for New Female Vocalist. And so we get over there, sit in my seat, and they announce it, and they say my name, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I got to go up there and say something.
Because man, you know, as I like to think that I'm one of the bigger champions of female singers here in the state of Texas, and those categories for female vocalist and new female vocalist of the year are chock full of literally the best talent in the state. I mean, you're not beating anybody that's nobody. Is what I mean. You know, so I mean, you have to do something right to get there.
They narrowed it down.
It's crazy.
I
mean, we're talking like Sarah Hobbs and Kenzie Coppin and Caitlin Butts and all these Adrian Johnston, all these huge names. I don't know exactly who you were nominated with. I just know that there's so many amazing women in the state.
It definitely
and
are.
To be represented as the best new female vocalist has to be
that's very humbling. Yeah, it's a huge honor. It's very humbling because you know, you get out there, you work really hard, and you know, try to do your best. And some days it just it's hard.
Oh, I know, and
it's little pick-me-ups.
And it can be harder for females in the state of Texas too. It seems to be changing a little bit. Let's hope that it is, because females can headline, females can sell records and all of that stuff just like the boys do. And you know, Julia's a big example of that too. You know, the second single you ever released made the top 20, and it was a waltz, y'all. And man, we're excited to show you that song a little bit later in the episode, so don't go anywhere. That's going to be towards the end of the show. But you are going to play us a few songs, and the first one was also a single, I believe, right?
Yeah, that was my third single.
Who I Want You to Be, right? So tell us a little bit about the nuts and bolts of this song.
So that song, I'd had that line for a while. Typically I have a line, I stash it away, and then it'll come out a couple years later. Yeah, just the hook. And something that's just catchy. And that one, you know, brought a smile to my face because everybody knows how that feels. Everybody knows how it feels to fall in love with somebody you know, wish they were.
Right.
And they find the one good character quality or characteristic of them, and they make them out to be this, you know, wonderful person.
And that one quality always seems to outshadow all the bad ones, right?
Exactly. And so I knew there were plenty of people, girls and guys alike, that would relate with that song. And there's one line in it: "You've always been a liar, and I've always been naive."
Yep.
And that's
a tough thing to admit to, too, isn't it?
Yes, it definitely is. Being a songwriter is a very vulnerable thing, so I think I've gotten used to vulnerability.
Yeah. And this song did really well for you, too. It was like top 50 as well, I believe, right?
Yeah, I made it to number 33, I
Yeah, it was up there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, like I said, guys, if you're not from the state of Texas, we have a phenomenal system in place for songwriters and performers here called the Texas Regional Radio Report, which is kind of like the Billboard chart of Texas. And of course, we also have Texas Music Pickers, which is a Spotify chart, and CDX Traction Texas as well.
Yeah.
All three charts. It's cool. It's a cool structure to have in place here in Texas because it helps you get bookings and sell records and all of that stuff. But it is incredibly difficult to get a song in the top 100, y'all, because at any given time, there's hundreds of singles being promoted across the state. And this girl right here has got multiple top 40s. And you're not even 21 yet.
Nope, July.
Yeah.
July, I'll be 21.
21 in July. Can't drink, but she's just...
I've been singing in bars since I was 15.
Right, yeah. She doesn't sell a lot of records, but she can damn sure sell a lot of beer, right? An old Warren Brothers song. I promised you some songs out there, and Julia Hatfield is here in the living room of the ETX ROCKS Show. Super stoked to have her here. Here's a live and unplugged version of Who I Wanted You to Be by the one and only Julia Hatfield. Y'all check it out. So we're back once again with Julia Hatfield. You're tuned into episode 258 of the show. Unbelievable. We've been so blessed to be able to talk to so many folks, and I bet you we were probably around 70 episodes when I first heard of Julia Hatfield, and ever since then I've been trying to get her out here.
Well, I've been looking forward to this. I love the intimate interviews, the one we talk about everything, just the nitty-gritty of it all.
Yeah.
And so that, for me, that's...
Well, you've come to the right place.
Good.
I hope so. I think we've kind of grown a reputation for that across the state.
Definitely.
So it's just super cool after a year and a half of being your friend to finally have you here. We've been conversating back and forth for the whole time, just trying to make it work with your schedule and our schedule. And she happened to be in the area this week, and we're actually filming this on a Tuesday. You might know we normally film these on Sundays, so you know how special Julia is to us that we come out on a Tuesday. But yeah, we're super stoked to have her here. And you know, some of the most important things to a songwriter you did mention earlier is vulnerability, mm-hmm. and that can be a really difficult thing for a young artist as well. Yeah. Because you have to grow into a certain identity, mm-hmm. a certain lane, and figure out where you fit. Yeah. But then, as a listener and a fan of yours, listening to your record, it's almost like you've said, screw that. Yeah. You know, like, I'm just, whatever I write is what's going to be my identity at the moment. Yeah. You know, it's almost like you don't care about fitting into a box at all. Because this record right here, I believe it has 11 songs on it. It does. It's called Hopeless Romantic by Julia Hatfield. And I'm telling you, it's like taking a history lesson of country music on this one record. Thank you. Because every song takes you to a different generation. And so
that's something that really I appreciate about this album is it's a coming-of-age album in a way. I've had a couple albums, but this one just has a lot of raw, real, vulnerable material in it. But with that classic country and that country that I grew up on, combining that, it makes it so familiar and so personal. And that's been something I've really been proud of.
It's just amazing, man. It's like I said earlier, it's just like taking a trip through the generations of country music. There's honky tonk in there. There's outlaw music. There's 90s with all the harmonies and stuff like that. And then, I mean, even you get some of today's vibes in there as well. So your influence must be all over the place.
It is. It's all over the map. I actually grew up on a lot of disco and funk.
Really?
So I love disco.
Cool.
A lot of that. Cool in the Gang, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Michael Jackson, the Bee Gees. That's what I grew up on. And that combined with the classic country, just you wouldn't think it makes sense, but it really does.
But it kind of does in a record standpoint, though.
Yeah.
Because just even the instrumentation in it, you've paid so much attention to the intricacies of the music. You know, you've turned it from just a song into a composition.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear how much input you've had in the studio with that kind of stuff.
Well, a lot of that is due to my producer, Bill Green. He's a phenomenal producer, knows his country music, and that was something that was very beneficial and a big learning experience, too, because we think we know country.
Yeah.
But then meet people who know country, and you learn a whole new world of what, country music came from, what it's intended for, and this was definitely a learning experience. Working with Bill he's like my grandpa.
Is this the first record that you've worked with him on?
Yes.
I'm curious because
we had the EP first, and then
because I have heard that there's major differences between the two of them.
Yes.
There's almost like a strict maturing process that you can hear between the two records.
Yeah, I tell people don't even pay attention to that last one unless you want to hear songwriting. That's the songwriting. Yeah,
that's definitely more raw, definitely more organic. The first album.
Yeah, that was kind of a learning experience as well. Every album, every time you're in the studio, it's a learning experience. I recorded a couple things out in California on that first album, and then some in Texas, and it was kind of a hodgepodge, a collection of a bunch of different sounds. But for me, that was more to showcase the writing than anything. And my voice, I tell people that was before I was doing what my vocal coach told me to do. So the voice has changed a lot, which I'm thankful for.
As a younger artist, I imagine you've probably been doing this since you were pretty young.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, how did you go from just, hey, I love to sing, this is awesome, this is a cool little hobby that I have. What was the moment for you that you went from that to, you know what, I want to do this. This is what I want my identity to be forever.
Yeah.
This is my career. So what was that moment like to go from hobby to career?
That moment, it was very much a God moment. God just put it on my heart. I always knew that I was an entertainer. I mean, I'd grown up in theater, singing in church. I just always had that need to entertain, not for attention as much as just for connecting with people. Mm-hmm. It's like I needed that. That's something that I craved, and I just knew it's who I was.
Right.
But I remember going to a concert in Dallas when I was, I guess, 15, something like that, 15. And going into that concert, I walked into that stadium, and God just put on my heart, this is what I want you to do.
Wow.
And there was no doubt in my mind that I was supposed to be an artist. There was just, I'd been writing, I'd been playing instruments, and for quite a while I've been singing for a long time, but it was never something that I'd pursued as a career, especially 15, you're not thinking about that.
Yeah, of course not.
Then God just put it on my heart, he said, Julia, this is for you.
Was it just a vision? You walk into an environment like that and you picture you being the reason why folks were there?
I guess just the reason they wanted to come there to connect, because there's such an energy at concerts, and there's such a desire for connection and for intimacy between, people who all from different stages of life have heard this music, and it means something totally different. There's a quote, I'm trying to remember who it's by. It says, like, there's 60,000 people in a stadium, and they'll sing that song back to you for 60,000 different reasons. I'm like, what an amazing opportunity to connect with people.
And I mean, that can be on a big scale or a small scale too.
Exactly.
Regardless of what venue or wherever you are.
Yeah, there could be 5 people in the room, and it could be just as powerful.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at things. Yeah. And she did mention earlier. Well, it might have been off camera actually, about our questionnaire that we don't force them to fill it out, but we certainly love to have it filled out. And it's just 21 questions. It gives us a chance to learn a little bit more about our guest before they come on. And honestly, I don't even look at it during the show normally, but I do study it beforehand. But just some great answers from you about having the mindset to know that your music can be a role model for other artists that are coming up under you, because you were affected that way from people that came up before you.
Definitely.
Having that mindset is a very difficult place to get to as a young artist, I think anyway. So how did you fall into that mindset? Is that just who you are?
Pretty much. I haven't changed much since I was little. Same personality, same favorite color, same favorite food. I've just always been very social. Not much about me has changed. I've matured, thankfully. But overall, that's just always been who I was. And I remember going to see Jenny Owens is her name. She's a Christian artist who's blind, and she plays piano. It's absolutely amazing. And I just thought she was the greatest thing in the world when I was little. And my mom took me to one of her concerts. And I'll never forget that feeling of seeing somebody doing something that I'm passionate about, I know that I would love to do, and seeing her being so giving and just so generous with her time and talking to me after, and then her playing piano, and she was blind. That to me just was amazing. Yeah. And people like that really spur me on, even today. You know, everybody has dry spells. Everybody has those times where there's not that inspiration. And it's like God always puts somebody in my path to spark it again. And whether it's an artist, whether it's an interview, something like this is, I'm all over this. So.
Yeah, and it's great to have those little reminders along the road too, because you know that road can be filled with obstacles and roadblocks, and you know sometimes you need to hear that little voice in the storm. Sometimes just get you through to the next gig or the next show or the next interview or wherever you're headed. To
remind you why you do what you do and why do you love what you do. That's it reminds you why you love it.
But it sounds like Jenny Owens maybe in a way kind of opened that up for you to be appreciative of whatever it is that you get and whatever you're allowed to be with your vulnerability and your songwriting and all that stuff. It's got to be a great place to be.
It is. It's a true blessing because I look at people around me, and having grown, really grown up in this since I was about 15, I've always seen people seeking and searching, and I've always not had the answers, but I've always had peace in knowing that God has the answers. And that's something that's really is, I think, shown through in my music, and I hope it does, is just having that comfort of knowing that we don't know what tomorrow holds.
Yeah, and I think that distraction of not being in peace for a lot of artists can lead to a lot of complacency in art. Yeah. You know, and sometimes you just have to let go in order to move forward. Yeah. You know, and I think a lot of people lose sight of that. Yeah. And it's unfortunate because there's so much talent out there. And honestly, like you said, the vulnerability of a songwriter is probably the biggest risk you can take, is to put yourself out there. We've said on the show a million times that a lot of songwriters are introverted. Yeah. Very introverted folks, and they have to be an extrovert on stage to make it happen. So just taking that risk on a nightly basis, putting your soul out there over and over again, I can't imagine what that's like.
See, I'm literally, like when you take the personality test, I am almost 100% extrovert.
Really?
It's insane. It's off the charts extroverted, but for me, it's almost even, it's very vulnerable to be an extrovert and really take people in and really just,
So you're like a people watcher?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
I'll just sit outside of Walmart and watch people. I actually was posting about something like that the other day. Just, you never know what you're going to see.
Well, it's Walmart.
Yes. Yeah. And so, I'm a people watcher, and it's really being an extrovert and writing, and also, your writing being a part of your life, that's very vulnerable because you pretty much, it's all out there.
You're already putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
But now you're putting yourself out there to be judged.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a whole different ballgame.
Exactly.
Because when you're an extrovert, I have to be an extrovert half the time. It's not my natural go-to. Yeah. But I know when I do that, whether you're judged or not, you still have to do it. So who cares?
It's part of life.
Right, exactly. But when I'm being that introverted guy, man, I'm afraid. I'm so terrified of judgment. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, don't look at me. Don't look at me. Yeah, I know I'm wearing sweatpants, whatever, They're comfortable. Don't judge. Yeah. So I totally get that. Yeah. It's just weird having to do both. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. One thing I did mention about the record, and even in the first EP that I listened to as well, just the different styles of country music. Yeah. And I love that you can tap into those things as a writer. So when you sit down to write, are you hearing that as you write the song, or does that come after?
It's never the same way twice.
Yeah.
Writing it's like another person. It's like somebody sitting on your shoulder and won't shut up.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They just have all sorts of ideas, and it's never the same thing twice. It's always something different. But for me, I rarely, unless it's a co-write, I rarely sit down just to try and write something, because it never stops. It's not like
it's not like you have to force it at any time. Yeah.
I mean, there are times where it doesn't seem like it comes as naturally, and that's when I know, okay, I need to be
take a step back
and be looking for some inspiration.
Right.
Because another thing.
That's probably when you go to Walmart, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Or do a co-write or something. Just have that interaction, because I feed off of that.
Yeah.
And so that's huge for me. But having grown up on a really wide variety of genres, I think has really affected my writing. So it's not within a box. And as much as I love country music, a lot of people get stuck in one vein of country music. That's all they listen to.
Yep.
And it's good that they like it, but as an artist, it's not really allowing you the opportunities to become all that you can be, because it'll come out as unique if you let it, but you have to put in the stuff that, that you can think about, and it can inspire you, and then come back out.
Man, I was really excited to finally have you here, because you're episode 258, and I can honestly say probably that you might be the first artist we've had here that all ages could take in and enjoy. Honestly.
Thank you.
Like, I could see an 8-year-old digging some of your songs. I could see a grandmother digging some of your songs. I can't say that about a whole lot of artists that we've had here. And so I think a lot of people are kind of stuck in a certain demographic. And maybe they're not stuck per se. Maybe that's where they like it. Maybe that's where they're comfortable.
Yeah.
But it just sounds like you're so comfortable with anything. And maybe it's because of that extrovertedness that you're just like, you know what? Whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you're sitting down to write and you hear a hook, or you write a hook, or you write a line, do you subconsciously or even consciously, are you thinking, you know what, I bet you this would be cool, like with some heavy riffs, like a honky-tonk song, or you know what, this would be cool if I toned it down and really made people feel it. Like, are you thinking that as you're writing it?
As I'm writing it, it's more that vulnerable, it's just all coming to the surface. But as I listen to it, I'll record it, listen to it over and over and over, and I'm like, okay, I can start.
So that's when you start pushing in some of the styles and stuff. Okay.
Yeah. And you can make any song sound like anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I went to a Briars concert this past weekend, and he played every 90s rap song with an acoustic guitar, and it was badass.
Wow.
He was, and the cool thing is, have you heard of the Briars?
I haven't.
Okay, the Briars are kind of like swampy Dwight Yoakam, but like Ray Wiley Hubbard, light. Awesome. Okay, so it's a 3-piece, and they had a lead guitar, electric guitar, and an acoustic guitar, and a cajon. Okay, that's what their 3-piece is. And so he just starts with this little riff, and he starts singing, what was the first one he was rapping? It was, I don't even remember, but No Diggity, yeah.
Oh my God,
starts with
awesome.
No Diggity, right. And then he starts having us scream out rap songs. So, I'm just like, how about Fresh Prince? And he was like, in West Philadelphia, born and raised, and just going through it. And so that's what it reminds me of. Like, you can make anything sound like something else if you want it
That
to.
makes me so happy, because I think people come to my shows expecting one thing and leave with a totally different thing, because I play all sorts of varieties of music at shows, but it all sounds like me.
Right.
So it's not like it's trying to change the genres. It all just comes out. I'll play Gloria Gaynor or the Bee Gees or Michael Jackson, and that way everybody who's at the show heard something that they liked. And for that person who says, oh, I don't like country music, they leave there saying,
well, I mean, you're building a badass fan base by doing it that way, though.
And it's incorporating everyone. If I have a little girl come up and I find out that she likes a Disney princess, I can make a Disney princess song, a country song. Mm-hmm. Or if I have somebody who's 80 years old, I could play something that more relates to them.
You just play Hopeless Romantic.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
And man, wait till you guys hear that song later on in the show. And that is also the title track of her album that came out in 2017, right?
Yep, it was 2017.
And you're working on new music as well.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I've been bad about the music requires you to be a business person.
Yeah.
As you know. And that is something that I've been learning for the past 5 or 6 years.
Separating the artist from the brand.
It can be hard to do all of it and still find time for the creative stuff. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, the past 1.5 to 2 years, I have spent a lot of my time on the business side and a lot less than I would like to be on the creative side. I have to remember why I got into it in the first place is because I'm an artist,
right.
I'm a businesswoman. That's why I look up to people like Dolly Parton, because she has just mastered
so many different hats.
Yeah. And she's the master of her craft in a million different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so trying to figure out how to bring that creative side back in and to incorporate that into everyday life and just working on that. Because it can be hard in Texas because we're all so spread out.
Mm-hmm.
So having collaborations can be few and far between.
Right.
Especially when you're singing.
Or just doing interviews with someone like us. I mean, we're sitting out here on an island in East Texas. We're not near anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks for us sometimes. And, I mean, you're originally from Navasota, right? Isn't that Central Texas?
Yeah. That's nice. And
yeah, so, I mean, you know, if you're not from Texas, you might not know that where she lives and where we live is probably like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Easily. And so for us to talk with someone like Julia, they have to make the time to come see us, which I appreciate that so much, by the way.
Thank you for having me.
But you know, we never lose sight of that on the show. We're very blessed, and we feel very grateful for folks to come talk with us. But it's hard in this state because, you know, we talked about the radio charts earlier, and those reporting stations are from all over the state. And I mean, you can drive 12 hours from east to west and not leave the state.
Exactly.
You know, and so
most of the places in the world you could drive across a couple countries
yeah,
in the time that it takes to drive.
A dozen countries in Europe by
Yeah.
the time you get through Texas.
Yeah.
You know, so just going on a radio tour can be hugely expensive.
Yeah.
Just in gas and hotels and food and all that stuff. Yeah. And that's just going out and talking with folks like us and trying to get your record played.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult, and that can zap your creativity too, because
it can.
you don't feel like doing anything after
it's
busting
draining.
tail.
It's draining.
Yeah.
And something too is, for me, I'm pretty much who I am on stage as I am off stage. I'm not very different.
Yeah.
People don't think, oh, that's like a persona or that. I hope they don't think that. Because
They'll find out today that it's not, that's for sure.
Definitely. I'm going to share it with everybody so they know I'm authentic. But that can, it wears you out.
Well, just being an extrovert all the time can be draining.
The older I get, the more I appreciate the days where I can sit on the couch and watch I Love Lucy. And those are my nice, calm days. You have to recharge.
Absolutely.
You have to.
And if you don't, then you're not going to be long for what you're doing.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
People always say work hard, but I've learned you work really hard, but you also need to work smart.
Yeah.
Because there's no point in driving
a lot of times all
around.
it takes is just realizing certain things, you know. Yeah. Just the fact that you realize that Julia Hatfield is a brand as well as an artist. Yeah. Just that realization can be all the difference in the world. Yeah. Because a lot of people have a real hard time selling themselves. Yeah. You can feel dirty in that process, you know what I mean? And you shouldn't. Yeah. You really shouldn't, because at the end of the day, you're just chasing your dream, you know what I mean? Exactly. That's all it is. So we are sitting here once again with Julia Hatfield. It's episode 258. She is the reigning, defending 2018 TRRRMA new female vocalist of the year. Bet you don't get tired of hearing that, right?
Oh, I get more excited every time I hear it.
and that's a big deal. That's like the CMAs here in Texas. We were nominated for the first time this year.
Awesome.
We didn't make the finals, but by God, just being top 10 just really excited the heck out of me. So, but yeah, just a cool artist, and we're stoked to have her here. And guys, we're gonna surprise Julia with a segment here in a minute. As you know, out there, we like to play a game on the show every single time we do the show, and we're gonna do the same with Julia coming up right after this message from an independent artist. Y'all don't go anywhere.
This is Jade Marie Patek. Thanks so much for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
All right, so we are back, and as you guys might know if you've tuned in before, we like to play a little game here on the ETX ROCKS Show, and today is no different. We're going to play What the Heck with Julia Hatfield, and as you guys can see, the infamous Magic Laptop has made an appearance back on the set here in the living room. I don't know how it happens, just drops out of the ceiling when I need it. It's almost like the David Letterman show, like things just drop down and appear. And we just don't have that kind of budget, you know. I
can come up with some kind of redneck contraption thing.
Well, maybe you should start working on that for us.
I'm pretty good at that kind of stuff.
So just like drop a marble into something over there in the kitchen, and eventually it'll pour me a cup of coffee over here in the corner or something. But anyway, the way What the Heck works is I'm going to ask you maybe 5 to 8 questions. And basically I just need you to shut your filter off and tell me the first thing that pops into your head when you hear the question.
I don't know. I might not have signed up for this one. There's no telling what's going on.
Well, it's too late. You're already here. So.
Okay.
And she's an extrovert, so who knows what's going to happen here. Now, some of these questions might be silly or stupid. Some might be deeper. Some might be gross. Just depends on how I feel.
And so is it a one-word response?
You can say whatever you want. All right? You ready? Yeah?
I think so.
Okay.
Are you ready? That's the question.
I'm always ready. That's a lie. So, What the Heck with Julia Hatfield. All right, so a penguin walks through that door right now, and he's wearing a sombrero on his head. Why is he here, and what does he say?
I don't know, but I'd hug him.
You would?
Oh, gosh. I'd hug a penguin in an instant.
And while you do that, I'll steal his sombrero.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So we're going to
That didn't really answer the question, but that's the first
We're going to
thing I
hug and
thought
mug the penguin. She's the hugger, I'm the mugger. That's right. Yeah, I said it. All right. So what do you think cats dream about?
Other cats.
What if it's a cat that's never seen another cat?
Food. Or how to destroy the world.
That is probably more apt.
Yeah.
For sure. Like the Garfield syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How they can grow thumbs.
It's either lasagna or world domination.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the two.
Exactly.
I'm there with you. I think you're probably right.
I relate to cats, man.
Same. All right, so why do you think the cow crossed the road?
The couch?
The cow.
Oh.
Not the chicken.
Cow.
The chicken's already done it. We want to know why the cow crossed now.
So you want to tell someone to eat more chicken?
Wow. Chick-fil-A, you listening? Sponsorship. Hashtag sponsorship. Right there.
There you go. Julia
Hatfield on our side. I know that's right. That's the first time we've had Chick-fil-A endorsement. Usually it's like tequila or whiskey or Imodium AD.
I'm 20.
All right, number 4. Do you think Disneyworld is just a human trap set by a mouse?
Huh. I hadn't thought about it that way. But I like that idea.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It does to me, too. It just, I don't know, man. I've been to Disney World once, and it boggles my mind that people will pay like $60 for a ticket to spend all day waiting in line.
Yeah. I've never had, like, a desire to go to Disney World.
I mean, I can wait in line at Walmart for less than that, especially if I'm just buying like a candy bar or something.
Exactly.
Of course, you know, you can't go to Walmart and just buy a candy bar. You go there to buy a candy bar and you end up dropping like $90.
Yeah, I'll come out with a loofah and a new movie. Yeah. All this stuff I didn't know I needed.
Right. Well, that's what Walmart does to you. All right, so number 5. When God sneezes, what do you tell him?
Excuse you?
Wow, you have courage.
No, I would not say that to God. No,
I wouldn't either.
Although he knows I'm sarcastic.
I would say it. I would say it if I was in like the middle of a dead sprint. No, not really, because he could still catch you.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other things you can say besides God bless
Maybe
you.
Bless yourself.
Just bless yourself. Next person who sneezes, I'm saying that too.
Oh, and then you're going to give him a God complex.
Okay, then maybe I shouldn't.
Which is a real psychiatric term. I know. We'll hashtag that.
Okay.
All right, so when dating someone new, this is, I think all your fans are going to want to know this for future reference, in case you're ever dating someone new.
Okay.
Hopefully not, because it seems like you're pretty happy.
Yeah, I'm pretty
All right, good. I just wanted that to be in the disclaimer. She's happy. But if you were dating someone new, what do you think is the appropriate amount of time to wait before going number 2 in front of them?
A long time. A long time.
A long time. How do you define a long time?
40 years?
So you're talking like
yeah.
30, 40 years of marriage. And then it'll probably just be an accident even.
I guess it depends on who you're married to.
So if it was like Stevie Wonder, you'd be completely fine. Girl, you doing that thing again? I'll pull that out. All right. Number 7. Where do you think Superman's changing his clothes nowadays?
I just always think he keeps them in his suit or his little briefcase.
Yeah,
where does he
but you know
change
how
them?
he used to change them in phone booths?
Yeah.
Well, they don't have phone booths anymore. So you think maybe it's like a T-Mobile store or... Because that would be
Forever
weird.
21.
Huh?
Forever 21.
Forever 21. That'd be interesting.
I mean, think about it. He's got all the...
He'd have a way
little
different
pretty.
looking... Yeah, he'd have a way different looking suit if he was changing there.
That's true. That's
He
true.
probably wouldn't be as feared.
Probably
Unless he went to
not.
like a rave or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say he ducks into Forever 21, changes
Yeah.
in the dressing room.
That would just be weird.
Yeah, it would be weird.
It would. All right, last one. I think I'll come up with a deep one. No, I got a good one for you. All right. Who are Julia Hatfield's celebrity parents?
I was gonna say Matt Damon, but I'm in love with Matt Damon, so that might be a little weird.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. I've got an old man crush on Matt Damon. That's what my brother calls it.
I'll have to tell him. She's probably like, what?
Go ahead. See, I love Sandra Bullock and Matt Damon.
Okay.
But I'd say, parent-wise, Lucille Ball.
Okay. It's already going to be a wacky household.
Mm-hmm.
Might need an introvert for a dad.
Ben Stiller.
My God.
That would be
Oh,
awesome.
my God.
That would be awesome.
That house would be a disaster area. Ben Stiller and Lucille Ball as your parents.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, so that was What the Heck with Julia Hatfield. I'm just picturing that. Like, there would never be a serious moment in the house.
It'd be awesome. It'd be cool.
I bet you he could do a mean Desi Arnaz, too, to just keep her...
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
All right.
I love Ben Stiller.
So I promised you guys that the laptop was magic, and we've been trying something new here lately where we transfer our magical power to our guests. And so typically what I'll do is I'll snap my fingers and somehow the laptop miraculously disappears.
Okay.
I don't know how it happens. I think it's the magic of television.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I'm just going to give you my mojo
Okay.
and just snap your fingers. Oh my God!
Whoa.
My laptop just ran off.
I want that kind of laptop.
How did you do that?
You're the one who gave me the power, so...
Well, usually when I do it, the laptop just disappears. It did disappear, it just walked away.
That was pretty cool.
It's like flea bitten and...
Were you watching like a funny dog video or something?
It could be. Maybe it came to life while you snapped. That's crazy, ridiculous power you have there.
Thank you.
Cool.
I like animals.
I just don't know where I'm going to put my USB to get the audio off of that.
Hopefully I'll be gone before that happens.
Yeah, it's probably going to be painful for either me or the dog, one of the two. And there's a high probability it'll be both.
Probably.
Yeah. So you guys, we did promise you guys out there that she was going to play an unplugged version of the top 20 single, Hopeless Romantic. Also the title track of the album that she has out. Get it at all you digital media places like iTunes and stuff like that. We'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute. But tell us about this song, because I was saying to you off camera, it's a risky thing to do to put out a waltz. And then, I mean, one thing to put it out, but then say, you know what, let's push this to radio.
For me, that was actually the second song that I wrote with Billy O'Rourke.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about Billy a little bit earlier. Love Billy. He's an amazing writer, amazing guitar player, really cool guy.
Heck of a singer, too, guys.
Yeah. He's just all around awesome guy. But I think that was the second song we'd written together. The first song we wrote ended up being my first single. And the second song was the second single. Just funny how it all played out.
What was the first single?
Like It's a Bad Thing.
Okay.
And so anyway, we knew it was going to be a risk releasing that song because it was around spring break and it's a waltz. It mentions nothing about partying or beer drinking.
Right.
And so it was going to stand out. But for me, that's what I like. I like when things stand out. And I don't want to be cookie cutter. And I knew, well, this is the perfect opportunity to take advantage of that. But it paid off.
I just love the hook in the song.
Thank you.
Just a great idea. Who came up with the hook? Was it you or Billy?
I'd actually had the hook for a long time. We were going through a bunch of hooks that I just had on my computer and just listening to them. And that was actually a couple lines. That was one line and a couple lines I had for a song idea. And that one just stood out immediately. And it didn't take long for it to become
This
what
is
it was.
just so very 60s country sounding,
Yeah.
you know. Not just having a waltz in the song, but it's also very grounded in like the Patsy Cline era of country music. But then you listen to the lyrics, and the lyrics are relevant to now.
Yeah.
And that's such a hard recipe to master. I think so many people fall by the roadside trying to do that.
Yeah.
And you did it with this song. And guys, I'm really excited to show this song to y'all. It's Julia Hatfield live right here in the ETX Rocks living room, and it's Hopeless Romantic. Y'all check it out. All right, so we are back once again. It's episode 258. We finally have Julia Hatfield here in the house. And, man, just super excited to have you here. Thank you for taking the time to see
I've really been looking forward to this.
Cool.
And I love intimate interviews. That's
well, I hope we were good enough for
of course.
or met your expectations.
Definitely.
Very cool.
More than I could.
So if people are hearing about Julia Hatfield for the first time, where would you send them to follow along with everything you have going on?
So, my favorite social media is Instagram, Snapchat, and then Facebook. I like them all, but I really try and keep up with those three.
Yeah.
So check out those. Snapchat, I'm always doing stupid stuff.
And it's at Julia Hatfield Music on all three of those?
Yep, and you can find links on juliahatfield.com.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I knew it was juliahatfield.com. You can follow along with all of her tour information on there. Whenever she releases new music, that's usually the first place that has it as well.
Yep.
It's a well put together site. There's good biography on there as well. And you have a contact link on there for venues as well, right?
Yes, yeah, definitely check that out. If you want the the email, it's just info@juliahatfield.com, and it'll get you in touch with
Super
people that
easy
need
to remember.
Yeah.
And it's
Try
just,
to keep it simple.
yeah. It's just JuliaHatfield, JuliaHatfield.com. Again, it's at Julia Hatfield Music everywhere. And also, she's on Spotify and YouTube. Yeah. And I'll tell you guys again, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll go to iTunes or Google Play, somewhere like that, and I'll purchase the record if I really want to have the record, and then I will stream it on the other places. That way you're getting both sides. You know,
awesome.
you're getting a purchase, you're getting a stream. I think if you guys are big enough fans of the artist, you should help them in that way. Yeah. Because it doesn't cost you any money to stream a song on Spotify or on YouTube. And again, you can buy these songs for 99 cents a piece usually. Yeah. And I promise you, the record is called Hopeless Romantic by Julia Hatfield. 11 songs on there. You're not going to hear a song that sounds anything like any of the other songs on the album. It literally is a journey through the annals of time of country music. Just really excited to finally have you on the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I've enjoyed this.
All right, so once again, it's episode 258 with Julia Hatfield. First time on the show, and just really excited. It won't be the last time, I promise that.
Good.
So when you have a new single out, or you're back from LA from your project, let's do this again, and we'll talk about your new stuff when it comes out.
Sounds good to me.
All right, awesome. Again, she's from College Station now. You're living in that area. Yeah. Calls Navasota, Texas home, from Central Texas. No singles out right now, but they're coming shortly.
They're coming.
Yeah. And again, she's visited the top 40 a couple of times. The last single was He's Just Not That Into You, right?
Yeah.
Just a cute little song as well. I love that song. That was more like the modern kind of song that I was referring to as well. Kind of like Once Upon a Senior Year.
Yeah, that one made it, that was on the chart for 6 months.
Yeah.
So I was so happy about that. Because to me, even if it doesn't go super high, as long as it's on there,
oh, it
like
stayed forever.
Yeah.
People were playing it
for a while.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of this song.
Yeah. Please, something
we need
else.
something new. Come on.
So once again, it's Julia Hatfield Music on all social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. Follow along at juliahatfield.com for all new updates and stuff like that. Once again, it's juliahatfield.com. If you're tuned into the ETX ROCKS Show for the first time, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. You can follow along with everything we have going on. We're at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ETX ROCKS. If you're tuned in to YouTube, smash that subscribe button down below. That's the best way you can help us. And I believe there's a little link somewhere down over here, maybe. I might not be pointing in the right place, but just click that little logo on our video here and hit the subscribe button. And what that does is it changes the algorithms in YouTube and makes our videos more recommended in suggested video areas on YouTube. The more subs we have, the more we are considered for those types of things. And the more we're considered, the more exposure for folks like Julia Hatfield and all the other wonderful artists that we have on the show. And it also helps you guys out. If you're a music fan, I hope you are. Otherwise, why would you be tuning in? But if you're a music fan, the subscription helps you too, because we're posting upwards of 20 videos a week sometimes.
Awesome.
And we're talking interviews, live videos, live performances, unplugged right here in the living room. Artists from all over the world have come as well. So if you're a music fan, you're going to get up to 12 to 24-hour notification before anybody else of every single video that we upload to our channel. Because we don't tell anybody until the next day after we upload.
Yeah.
That way our subscribers get a little bit of a bonus for subscribing. Awesome. So hit that subscribe button. It's completely free to do that, unless you hit the button twice. Now, if you hit the button twice, we're gonna charge you, let's see, $22.66 in pesos.
Okay.
That's a nice round number, $22.66, and I will only do that on a Thursday. So don't hit the button twice on Thursday, or we'll charge you $22.66 in pesos.
But it's Tuesday.
No, just Thursday.
Okay. Let's see. We're
It's
cool
Tuesday today. But you don't want to do that, because if you hit the button twice, you unsubscribe, and that's no bueno at all. No. So don't do that. Don't be that guy. Also, as you might know, we are completely self-funded on this show, which means we are low budget but high quality. We do the best we can with what we have, but we definitely could use your help out there. If you'd like to contribute to the ETX ROCKS Show, you can do so at www.paypal.me/ETX ROCKS. And every dime you send us goes right back into the production of the show, whether it is to upgrade equipment or pay for our fees on our podcasting sites or our webpage, which, by the way, is brand new. Just launched a brand new webpage at www.etxrocks.show, and we have over 10,000 hours of content on that webpage. Wow. We're talking live performances. Every single live performance that's been right here in the living room is playing in the background as soon as you click on there.
Awesome.
So by the time Julia gets home tonight, her 3 songs that she played today will be as a part of that playlist.
Wow.
That's how quick we do that. So definitely check out the webpage, etxrocks.show. We also list all of our live events that we do all over East Texas as well. If you want to come see us out in person, we definitely recommend you do that. We'd love to meet you guys. So come say hi. And as we always say on the show, we want to thank you guys for always supporting live music of all genres and all styles. And don't ever forget,
ETX rocks.
That's right.
From the unknown to the stars, from the couch to the car, from the unheralded and the unheard, to the legends and beyond, it's where we all belong. Yes, this is where it all starts. From every genre, from every plane, this is where the music's played. So tune right in, won't you bring a friend? This is where it all begins. Welcome to the show, let the music flow of every style and creed. And your socks, then ETX rocks. ETX